Hey guys, this is Al. I wanted to post, this is going to be the first of two videos describing how to use the vlookup function. I know it was a little bit confusing in class. It can be, it's probably the trickiest function that we've learned to use yet. So I figure I'd post, give you guys a little bit more instruction. Now, this first video is really just going to describe the basics of how the vlookup function works. And in the next video, we're gonna apply that to our actual data. Okay, so let's have a look. So I have in this sheet, okay, some raw data. Okay, we have a bunch of counties labeled A through I down here, and we have some information about these counties. Okay, oh, actually, let me change these so that they are different. Okay, so we have some birth rates, we have some income data, and we have the percentage of people going to high school. Okay, so over here, okay, this is my actual lookup sheet. I have what I want to look up. So basically what I want to do is I want to look up the values of these variables, birth rate, income, and high school, okay, for the counties A, D, B, E, and F, in that order, okay, based on the information for all of the counties that I have in our data. Okay. All right. So let's do first things first. Okay. We'll start simple. Now this row here that I've labeled column, we're not going to use it yet. So I'm actually going to hide it. Let's ignore that for now. Okay. So I just have here county A B A D B E, etc. And I want to look up that information back here. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to say equals vlookup. Okay. And the vlookup function takes 4 arguments. Okay. The first argument that it takes is the actual value that I want to look up. And in this case, I want to select this cell A. Okay. That's the first step. Okay. The second thing that I want to that the vlookup function needs me to specify is the location where the data is contained. Now in that case, it's contained in this sheet. Okay. And what I want to do here is I want to select the entire range of our data. That is to say, I want to start from where our data begins with our lookup value being in the leftmost column. So I want to start here, and then I want to select down through here. Okay, and then very important, before I press comma, before I move on to the next argument of my function, what I want to do is I want to lock this range, this A2 through D10. I want to lock the range. So I'm going to press Command T, okay, and do that for both portions of this. So I'm going to have $A, $2, $D, $10. And I want to lock that range, okay, because we don't want that range where it's actually looking up the data to change when we update this formula. Now the column index, okay, this third argument, okay, we're gonna make 2 for now. You'll see what that does. Okay, it simply looks up the second column in our data table, and then for the range lookup, I once again want false. Okay, so I want to press enter. So you can see what it does is it goes over to this table. Okay, it finds county A. It looks inside the lookup table. Okay, or it looks up inside that range of values that we specify, and then it reports to me what is in the first column under county A, or rather, what is in the second column under county A, because the first column is our actual lookup values. Okay, so once again, it's looking for the value A, okay, in this range here, and it's going to report the value in the second column, which is our birth rate. Okay. Now if I take this and I extend that downwards, okay, it's going to look up the other birth rates in our table. Okay, so now how do I look up not the birth rate but the income? Well, on the one hand, I could just copy this cell over. Okay, but if I copy this cell over, you'll notice that Excel makes 2 mistakes. One is that it's still looking up this 0.0, or one is that it should still be looking up A, but now our lookup value is 0.01. Okay, so it's going to go over here, it's going to look up in the first column, and it's not going to find 0.01. Okay, and so it's giving me this error. Okay, so I don't want to look up 0.01 in our big table. I want to look up A in our big table. So I still want it to stay over there. That's the first issue. The second issue, okay, is that we're still telling it to look up the value in column 2. Okay, so even if I fix this issue, even if I say look up column A, okay, it's still going to report back to us the value in column 2. We want to change this to a 3, essentially. Once we change it to a 3, oh look, now it's looking up our income data. Okay. However, I don't want to have to change all of these cells individually. Like if I update this over here again, if I drag this over here again, it's going to make that same mistake again. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to, in this first column, okay, make all of the changes that I need to in this first column. So what am I going to do? I'm going to unhide this row here. Now you can see this row. The reason I created this row is so I can cell reference these values. So here, instead of saying look up what is in the second column of our data table, I can simply cell reference this 2. And then over here, I'm going to switch that cell reference to this 3, etc., etc. Okay. So let me go in here, back in here, and into our formula. Okay. So there's a few things here that we need to change. The first thing that we need to change is we need to make it so that when I drag over, when I extend this cell over to the right, that it's still looking up A. Okay. I still want it to, if I go to another row, I still want it to change to a different row, but I always want it to look up A. So I always want it to look up the same column. So for that reason, I'm going to put a dollar sign in front of the column. Okay. So this way, okay, so if I press enter, and if I extend this data, if I extend this value over to the right, you'll see that it always looks up this A. Okay, it's always looking up A in our data table. Okay, the second thing that I needed to do, okay, is notice it's still reporting the same value. Why is it reporting the same value? Because it's reporting it's reporting the second column of our data table every time. So it's looking up A, it's going to the second column, and it's giving me the birth rate. Okay, so I don't want it to do that. I want it to vary the column based on where I am. So here, instead of typing in 2, I want to cell reference this 2 that I've created up here. Okay, and here I also want to lock one of the components, but instead of locking the column, I want to lock the row. Because when I update this downwards, I still want it to refer to this 2. I don't want it to refer to something lower than the 2. So I'm gonna lock the row here. I'm gonna put a dollar sign in front of the 2. Okay, and this way, okay, if I update this downwards, you'll see that it always refers to the 2. It always is looking up what's in the second column. Okay, now if I take this and I extend it over here, okay, you'll see that everything is working. Okay, so notice here, okay, I am looking up the value A in my raw data table, and I'm reporting which column? The third column. Here, I'm looking up A, but I'm reporting the fourth column. You see, instead of typing that 4 in here, I'm just cell referencing this 4, and I've locked the row so that all of these subsequent values are also correct. Okay. Now you go, why is it giving me a reference error for 5 here? Well, here I'm telling it to look up what's in column 5. Okay, but notice that our data table only has 4 columns. We don't have a column 5. Okay, so I'm just going to delete this extra column. Okay, so I hope that gives you guys an idea of how the vlookup function works. I'm going to end this video, and then the second video is going to discuss how to apply this in our actual data set.